see if this works.
Junk Shop Library's Improv Bible Study. Are you ready for this? Alright, every day a new adventure here in the Junk Shop Library. This channel is the home of Improv Bible Study, where we read every last solitary word of the authorized version of 1611, because for all its faults, it's the one most people still quote, and it's in the public domain. We read a chapter at a time, and then we explain why it's terrible. 'Cause it's all terrible. Trust me. So those title crawls, atheism, skepticism, humanism, those were not just for show. Alright. Well, hit those thumbs ups for me if you'd be so kind. We will be launching today into the 20th chapter of the 5th book of Moses, called Deuteronomy. Still trying to get the hang of this new electronics format, so sometimes strange things happen. Bear with me. Alright, Deuteronomy 20. When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses and chariots, and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them, for the Lord thy God is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be, when ye are come nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach, and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, fear not, and do not tremble, neither be ye terrified because of them. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you, to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. And the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that hath built a new house, and hath not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. And what man is he that hath planted a vineyard, and hath not yet eaten of it? Let him also go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man eat of it. And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife, and hath not taken her? Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her. And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, What man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return unto his house, lest his brethren's heart faint, as well as his heart. And it shall be, when the officers have made an end of speaking unto the people, that they shall make captains of the armies to lead the people. When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. And it shall be, if it make thee answer of peace, and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee. And if they will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. And when the Lord thy God hath delivered it into thine hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. But the women, and the little ones, and the cattle, and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take unto thyself, and thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. Thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations. But of the cities of these people, which the Lord thy God doth give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth, but thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations, which they have done unto their gods, so should ye sin against the Lord your God. When thou shalt besiege a city a long time, in making war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for thou mayest eat of them. And thou shalt not cut them down, for the tree of the field is man's life, to employ them in the siege. Only the trees which thou knowest that they be not trees for meat, thou shalt destroy and cut them down, and thou shalt build bulwarks against the city that maketh war with thee, until it be subdued. 20th chapter of Deuteronomy. Ethical Bronze Age siegecraft. You never know what you're getting, do you? Well, I'll be honest, if you had told me the gist of what was in that chapter, I wouldn't have thought there was going to be much to it. Alright. So we start off with, your obligatory, I know there's more of them than there are of you, but God's on your side and he can smite on behalf of you. And then you get this this weird little Marx Brothers skit where General Groucho says to the people, hey, is anybody here who just put up a house? You just put up a house and you hadn't blessed it yet? Well, then why don't you go home? Because you might die on the field of battle, and then somebody else would have to consecrate your house, and we wouldn't want that, would we? He says, now, who's done planted a garden? Anybody planted a garden? This is the worst Groucho Marx impression in the history of Groucho Marx impressions, and possibly impressions of all. All history of impressions. Does anybody planted a vineyard and hadn't had time to eat the fruit of it yet? Well, you take your ass on home as well, because you might die in the battle, and then somebody else would eat your fruits. And says, anybody here engaged? Show of hands. Anybody engaged? Yeah, few people. Few people engaged. Yeah. Yeah, be fruitful and multiply. The Lord likes that. Quick question. Might seem like none of my business, but all my engaged brethren here, y'all fucked yet? Well, Jesus Christ, man, what are you waiting for? Go home. Fuck your wife. Don't be out here battling on the field. You'll make the poor bitch a widow. Shit. And says, all right, now, anybody just plain skeert? Is anybody just plain skeert they can go home to? We've got the Lord on our side. We don't need faint hearts tripping themselves up all over the battlefield and causing other people to have doubts as well. And once everybody who hadn't consecrated their house, hadn't had fruit in their vineyard, hadn't fucked their wife, or hadn't screwed their courage to the sticking point, has gone, then they make up the captains of the guard and they march on the city. And the instructions are, if you march on a city that's close by, in the lands of the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, no word of the Girgashites. We don't have any idea why there aren't any Girgashites anymore. I have a suspicion. Anyway, if you come to one of those, a town inhabited by some of those ites, that's the land you've been given for your possession. So you kill everybody. Leave not that breatheth. You kill Big Papa and Little Mama and the three bears and Goldilocks and the dog and the cow and the raven. You kill it to death. And then take over the city. Because this is your land. So saith God. This land is your land, this land is my land. Kill all the motherfuckers living in my land. I never quite know what level of profanity is going to rise to here in the Improv Junk Shop Library Bible Study, do we? Alright, well, that's for instructions for, like, close-by neighbors. Now, then you get your instructions for how to deal with over the hill and yonder way, neighbors. First, you send off all the people whose vineyards haven't bloomed and who haven't fucked their wives and every other thing. You send them home. And then you march up to the city and you say, "Peace be with you." And if they say, "Peace be with you" back, then you say, "You are now a tributary to us. Give us probably 10% of your shit." And if they say, no, Negan, we don't like this plan, then you lay siege to the city until they surrender. And then you kill all the men, and you take the women and the babies and the sheepses and the cattles and all the various livestock prisoner for yourselves. And then there's a little environmental note. God takes care to point out, now listen, while you're doing this besieging stuff, I know the temptations are going to be twofold. One, you're going to be pissed at the people that are making you do all this siege warfare, which is nobody's idea of a good time. So you're going to want to cut down all the trees. Well, here's the thing. This is about to be your town, and you're going to need trees, so leave the damn trees alone. Don't cut it down just for spite, and don't cut it down to make ladders neither. If you need ladders or battering rams or what have you, make sure you pick a tree that doesn't bloom off something that's good for eating. You big dumb stupids. No wonder it's taken you 60 years to get the 20 miles from Egypt to here. Me. It's like pulling teeth to get these people to go just with one step of straight logic. Shit. Thus saith the Lord. May he smite me down if it is not so. I'll be damned. Or, well, not, as the case may be. All right, so that's all there is to Deuteronomy 20. Thank you once again for taking some time out of your schedule to listen to an angry little man trash an angry little book. If you're a regular viewer, but not yet a card-carrying library patron, please take advantage of this time. Poke the Pope to join our happy little band. Hit those thumbs up. It costs you 2 seconds and gives me great joy and glee. And until we reconvene for the 21st chapter of Deuteronomy, everybody take care, be safe, stand against hate. There was something else I was going to tell y'all, but it has just boop, right out my noggin. If it's important, it'll come to me. Bye now.